Last night, I went to the Greek Theater and I saw Primus with their new drummer, John Hoffman. And I got to tell you something, man. I've seen that band, I don't know how many times, but every time I see them, they just get better and better and better. They were like on fire last night. It was like face melting stuff. I so wished, I wish I took some mushrooms or something, but they let me sit in on one song, so I couldn't and I knew I was going to go early, It's not like I'm a musician, so they're like, all right, let's get the clown out of the way early. So it was after 3 songs. But then I was kind of like, is this going to be one of these things if I have some mushrooms, thanks a lot, good night. And then boom, they hit. And then I'm just tripping, trying to fucking drive home. I don't want to be doing that. So, they had the elephants jumping up and down on the trampolines and shit. It's just like, this is the show. And the vibe is great. But anyways, they had, I got to sit in on Too Many Puppies. And I can't even, I'm at the Greek, and me and my brothers, when we used to jam way back in the day, we used to try and play like the few songs that they had where like Les was sort of playing a bass line that my brother could keep up with. And like to just be looking up and seeing him, and then seeing Lair looking back at me, smiling and everything. And John was like beyond cool. Oh my God, he sounded amazing. And he had just got a brand new orange sparkle DW kit. And I just saw that thing. I was like, dude, that is going to look fucking sick under the lights. And it did. It looked like it was glowing. And then, oh, by the way, Justin Chancellor from Tool was playing bass also. And then fucking Guitar Center me was up there. And but I was psyched. I fucked up some of the changes. They kind of asked me a couple weeks ago, and I thought for some reason it was the middle of August. So I was just writing for that roast, and I was like, oh, fuck, it's the next day. So I had my little drum chart, and I went and I sat down, and I put it down upside down, and then I had in-ears, which I'd never used, and they were working, of course, until I sat down, and then they weren't. But I could still hear the band, but I was just going like, what the fuck? So I messed up a couple of changes. But in the end, those 16th note triplets, there's like 4 fills. I played the first and the third, and John like murdered the second and the fourth. But, I did the 16th note triple thing and then just played like a quad thing. I stayed in my wheelhouse, but it sounded, I think I pulled it off. And but my favorite part was when I went out to the crowd after, and I went with my lovely wife, and she didn't know anything about Primus. And we were like, as we were walking in, I was running into people, hey man, hey, how you doing? And she was like trying to get a read on what a Primus fan is. And Primus fans are everywhere from like Grateful Dead-ish to like jocks to like introverts to it's outgoing people. It's just like it's a wide mass of people that don't look like they should be together, but they do. There's some sort of through line that you can't quite put your finger on for a Primus fan. So when I went out to the crowd and I sat with my wife, she had this look on her face. She was going like, these guys are great. I like this. This is sort of like kind of funky. I was like, yeah. I go, it's kind of like, it's like Rush meets Conspiracy Theory meets like Bootsy Collins. I don't know how to like describe it, but it's fucking awesome. And like the end of the concert, when I saw my wife chanting Primus sucks, I was telling Les afterward, I go, that was the music equivalent of if my wife actually sat down and watched a sporting event with me and high-fived me in the end. So I got to do that. And then today I'm sitting in with somebody else at like, sort of like a Guitar Center thing, which is where I belong, which is cool. And then that's the end of my 3 night in a row getting outside of my comfort zone. And I can't tell you, those gigs actually really help with my stand-up, because then to actually just do what I do for a living, you know, when I walk on stage, it just feels like I'm playing t-ball. So there you go. There's a little old Billy life lesson there. You know, go out in that thing that you're saying no to, not because you don't want to do it, because you're afraid. Just go, yes. That's how I started my stand-up career. When I saw there was a phone number and it was for a talent contest, find Boston's funniest college student, I went home, set down my fucking backpack from college and just picked up the phone in my parents' house and called the number, because I knew if I didn't, I was going to sit down and that fear was going to take over. And, maybe in the next contest, I was just call up and do it now before you chicken out. And then I did it. And then it was like, that's it. That's it. Now the hourglass has been tipped over, you know? And when that sand's out, you go on stage and whatever the fuck happens. And it doesn't fucking matter. It's not about doing well. It's just about having the balls to go up there. So that's it. Give yourself permission to suck. And then you're off and running. There you go. Do you ever think you'd be taking tips from somebody who went to summer school?